Hello and welcome to Superintendent's Corner. I'm your host, Marnie Ryan, and as always, I have the awesome pleasure of interviewing Superintendent of USD 305, Mr. Bill Hall.
Well, hello, Marnie. It's good to see you again. It seems like, gosh, it's been a while since we've been able to get together and talk about everything 305.
I know. How are you? It's good to see you.
Doing well. I tell you what, we're winding down to another fantastic school year. We've had a lot of great things going on, a lot of celebrations, and of course, I know we're going to talk about a lot of things in the little time that we have together, but gosh, I don't have to drive very far here in town to see a lot of building going on, a lot of construction.
You know, and that is, it's such a great thing. I know sometimes people get a little interesting about construction, but it's for the greater good. And I know I always dip into this whenever we talk personally, because my kiddo goes to Meadowlark. She's at 305, but she came home the other day and was just excited. She's like, Mom, you've got to see what's going on. So, you know, great things going on, and so it's construction. I mean, all construction's good, but especially because it's for our kiddos.
Well, it is, and there's so many good things. I mean, it was great back in April of 14 when the voters approved it about a 60 to 40% margin, 52% turnout in favor of the bond issue, and it's so much community support. But with that, we're getting things like all-day kindergarten, we're getting career and tech ed, development and advancing those programs. Of course, the building, the construction that's happening at our two high schools. Which will provide phenomenal opportunities for our students. So it's all very, very exciting.
It is. And, I mean, and we had to prioritize because you guys have so much going on. But tell me about this exciting mobile app.
Well, I tell you what, we just rolled this out, gosh, about a month or so ago, and it's really exciting. And I know we've been working through the district in terms of ramping it up and getting the information out. And I'd like to be able to tell all the folks out there, if you have an opportunity. Now, I tell you what, in this day and age, you know, I've met a lot of folks, and very few people still have flip phones. There are some that do, but for the most part, people are walking around with these things, all right?
Yes.
And the mobile app absolutely will bring the school district, USD 305, to everyone's fingertips through the use of their smartphone. And I tell you what, if folks have, and like in my situation, I have an Android device, if you go to Google Store or Google Play, you can download the app. It just search for Salina Public Schools, and you download the app. Or if you have an Apple device, like an iPad, you go to Apple Store and again, search for Salina Public Schools. And it's very simple. The app looks something like this. And we're also going to, it just has everything. Gosh, it has, you can access Skyward, your parents, your kids' grades, and all the information about your student, about your child through Skyward. We have an activity stream, we have calendars. A lot of the calendars are, I mean, you can personalize it to where you just get those events of the schools where your children attend. And so that way you're not getting all the announcements for the school district, but the ones that are most pertinent to your children. And so that's exciting. Gosh, we have obviously a message from the superintendent, so I have some information I would like to share as well. Just some general news, a directory, notifications. It's just an excellent way to stay in contact with USD 305 and just find out what's going on. I mean, there's just so many things that are happening with USD 305. So I really encourage folks to go to their device, go to their store, whatever store they have, whether it's Google Play or whether it's Apple Store, and then search for Salina Public Schools and get that app downloaded because it just has tremendous information.
You know, it's such a great thing about Skyward, and this is so cool that you have the app because my daughter is so funny. I shared with her the last 2 times she got her report card. I was like, well, you know, I knew your grades before you got the card. She's like, how? I'm like, well, you know, Kieran. I do log on to the school website. She's like, really? And it just really surprised her. But how cool is that at any moment in time? Or, you know, and her father doesn't live in town, and so it's just so convenient.
Well, I tell you, and it used to be back in the day, right? I mean, you take stuff home, or if there's a problem, your teacher just called the parent. Now it's almost like parents can find out what's going on before the student even gets home. And so students are like, oh man. But on the other hand, students are logging on and they're checking their own grades, and they're actively engaged in their own progress, and that's the value of Skyward. I mean, it just really truly is an engaging experience between the home and the school and the child. And so it's a good
and the great thing too is sometimes because a lot of times dual income homes or whatever the days of families sitting down at dinner, and although we still hope that can happen, but maybe that's not always realistic. But when it's that convenient to just check on your phone, hey, let me just see how my kiddo did on this test and the scoring.
That's right.
That is so convenient.
Well, I mean,
and it opens up great communication with the family and the children.
That's right. I mean, everyone's extremely busy these days. But it really truly is a way to stay on top of what's going on, even though everyone has very, very busy lives. So again, the mobile app, USD 305, go to whatever store they have, whatever device they have, search for Salina Public Schools, download that app, and they'll be good to go. We're getting all information out to them, pushing a lot of information out concerning USD 305, and there's a lot of information to get out.
That's awesome. Now tell me this, it shocks me, like I often say this all the time, like 4th grade was the longest year of my life, and it's been a while since I've been in 4th grade, and so time flies, and I can't believe the school year is almost done, and we're approaching summer.
It is
What's
hard to
up with
believe.
that?
My gosh, I mean, I think graduation is 2 weeks from Sunday. I mean,
Yeah.
we're just, it's like, what happened?
I know.
The year just flew by.
It did.
Had the opportunity last evening, attended the Central High School Honors Program, and
cool.
recognizing the achievements of a lot of the students, and of course the graduating class of 2016. South High is having their honors program here in a few days. And when you start seeing honors programs and you start seeing these end of the year type things, it's kind of like, you have mixed feelings because it's been such a great year and it has to come to an end, but I know the kids are excited about moving on to that next step and that next on their journey. So it's exciting. Students, not one of them have yet said that they really don't want to keep going to school during the summer. They're ready for summer, all right? So everyone's kind of ready for a break, but it has been a very, very good year.
But 305 does have some summer programs. Tell me a little bit about, like, especially, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a summer meal program, and some different stations, different schools, if I'm correct.
Absolutely, there is a summer meal program. We've been doing this for a number of years now, and this is really an excellent, excellent program. It really provides meals to many of our children in the Salina community who otherwise may not have a hot meal during the day.
Yeah.
And so, it basically begins May 31st and runs through July 22nd. Last year we served, believe this or not, we served 23,972 meals just during the summer meal program.
Wow.
And so it's a very well-attended program. We have a lot of folks who take advantage of that. We have multiple sites across the community in which folks can go get a warm lunch. And so we encourage folks to take advantage of that, and we'll get more information out about that here in the next couple of weeks. But it is exciting that we're able to offer that to our community.
And it just amazes me. Of course, I often reference when I was in school forever ago, but how awesome that the school district values that and recognizes the importance. It's not just important when kids are physically in school in the regular school year, but in the summer, that that may be the one meal for some of the families. And that just speaks so highly of our district.
Well, and we like to
you
think,
guys.
and I appreciate that, and the Board of Education's always been extremely committed to the fact that even though school begins in August and ends in May, in reality, we really send the message that education is year-round, and education also means ensuring that children have nutritious meals year-round if they don't have the opportunity to have that. And so that's the value of that. We also encourage our students, even though school's not in session, to continue reading over the summer months and keeping their minds sharp so that when school starts, they'll be ready to go. So even though we don't have year-round school, education is a year-round process.
Definitely. And I will tell you, at least in my daughter's experience with 305, I'm not sure, it was probably with her kindergarten teacher, but that seed was planted so early on. Every day when she comes home from school, even on the weekends, she does her reading. She'll come, it's like clockwork. Even on the weekends, it's hard for her to get out of it, which is good. But just that reading is so important. And so I just, again, commend 305, the district, the Board of Education, all the teachers and all the hard workers, because learning is lifelong. And that's just such an important aspect. And I really, as a parent, appreciate that 305 really values that.
Well, I appreciate that. And your daughter actually has very good habits. I mean, it's important that you start those habits early. And to that end, we're very, very fortunate this year. Kind of came out of the bond issue and the support that we had from the Salina community. But with all the advancements and the expansions that we've made on all the schools, we're able to offer all-day kindergarten beginning in August. And that's
so cool.
Very exciting. There's many parents, as I'm out in the community, I visit with parents, that seems to be the number one issue that they're so pleased about, is that we were able to finally get all-day kindergarten for all of our children. And so it's exciting. We've been, Lynn Exline, who's the Executive Director of School Improvement, and her department have been working with teachers. We've identified the teachers. We've hired the teachers. Several of the buildings are already completed. We had the ribbon cutting for Coronado. We have a ribbon cutting for Meadowlark coming this Monday on May 2nd, or no, on May 9th, I'm sorry, a week from Monday. And so we're starting to get those schools finished. Not all of our elementary schools will be finished by August, but we will have all-day kindergarten in all of our elementary schools beginning in August. But it's exciting. The teachers are learning and becoming trained on what it's like to teach in a full day for kindergarten, because many folks might think, well, it's just an extra half day, you just extend the day. Well, not really, because we're not teaching more. but it does provide an opportunity to be more effective with our instruction, be more directed with our instruction. And so from that standpoint, it's just going, our students will be so much further ahead by the time they finish kindergarten as they enter first grade, just by virtue of having that extra half day. So it's going to be extremely important. I mean, we have things that we've designed a shirt for all the children, the kindergarten kids, to wear this year on the first day of school, and it says, "My first day was all day K." And that was it. That was
awesome.
Very exciting. And we even had our high school students get involved in that process, because we had 38 Central and South high school students, many of them in the graphic design classes, came together in teams, and we really made it a learning activity because they had to present their designs to a panel of judges. I was on. It's almost like they were selling their design or pitching their design to a advertising company.
Yeah.
And they did a very nice job, and we had so many outstanding designs, and the difficult part was trying to decide which one we wanted to go with, but we did select a final design. Garnett Peeler, who's a junior at Central High School, had the winning design, and it's just, they're like baby blue or light blue t-shirts, and so all of our kindergarten kids coming in next year, you'll know a kindergarten kid when you see them that first day of school, because they're all going to be wearing the same shirts. But
that's
cool. That's how exciting this is to our community and to our school system. It's it truly is. It's very cliche, but it's a big deal for our kids and for our community, because it's absolutely going to help in terms of preparation for our kids at different levels, not only going into first grade, but also if they're prepared going into first grade, they're going to be more likely to be prepared as they leave, say, third grade moving into fourth, which is a critical juncture. So all-day kindergarten, tremendously important, and we're excited to be able to bring it to our community.
When you first came to USD 305, did you, I mean, I'm sure you had hopes, but did you think you would see all the changes that you have had seen in such a small amount of time? Because 305 is just always banging with stuff going on.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I have to say that when I first interviewed for the position 5 years ago, what excited me was not only within the school community, but the larger community. Every person I met in the few days that I had in spending here in Salina, they were all so supportive of our school system and had so many good things to say about the quality of education in our community that absolutely I felt, there's support here. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely support here. All that really needs to happen is the opportunity to communicate and communicate effectively with our community about the needs. And not just communicate, but give them the opportunity to share what they believe to be important. And when we had those two-way conversations, it took several years to get there, but they became very clear that these are the things that were important to us. Things like all-day kindergarten, things like preparation for life after high school and having quality career and tech ed programs, things like school safety and security and what that means to parents who have children in our schools. And they voiced those concerns. We took those concerns and we put those concerns into a plan. We took it back to the community and they said, that's it. That's what we believe we can support. We took it to the election, and they absolutely did. And so, I'm not really surprised. The support within this community has always been very, very good for education.
Well, and I feel like, too, I don't feel like it's taken very long at all. I just feel like you just came here and everybody just really seemed to come together with the same goal and vision, and things have just been happening.
They're moving. I mean, we've added a lot of things in the last few years, but I tell you what, I think we were sharing before we went on air that you don't have to drive very far in Salina. You'll see a lot of things going on with our schools. I mean, there's basically construction projects going on. As I mentioned, we finished Coronado. We had the ribbon cutting at Coronado a week or so back. Metal Art's coming up here in a week or two. We still have 13 active projects that are going on. A year from now, by May of 2017, all of the projects will be completed with the exception of our two high schools. And our two high schools, our last project is South High School, and it is scheduled to be completed by the summer of 2018. So,
wow.
that time is going to go by very, very quickly.
And tell me again, how many schools are in the bond project that had construction?
There are a total of 15 construction projects.
That's a lot.
We have our 8 elementary schools, and we have our 2 middle schools, of course, and our 2 high schools, and then we have support buildings. We have our Hageman building, which is having some construction done as well, Salina Adult Education Center, which is located on the campus of Salina Area Technical College, and then Opportunity Now, which is our therapeutic high school that's located over on, I believe, on Mulberry. And so that's kind of where we're at, and so we have 15 projects. And what's good about that is not only the fact that it's going to provide outstanding improvements for our school system and unbelievable opportunities for our kids, but from an economic standpoint, we're so extremely fortunate, and this was a non-negotiable from the Board of Education. They said, we're going to move forward, but this has to be good for our community, not only our school system, but economically. So with that, we've used all local architects on all of our projects. We have used, to the extent possible, all local contractor firms, subcontractors, You know, I've had folks kind of come to me and say, you know, enough already, because I can't find somebody to remodel my kitchen. Because everyone is so busy working in our community.
What a great problem.
To me, that was a compliment, because
Yeah.
that's telling us, you know, we're keeping our dollars local. We're
Yeah.
keeping our folks busy, and that's what they wanted. That's what they wanted to see happen. So, just very, very pleased. The projects are coming in. They're finishing on time. They're finishing under budget, and the quality is very, very good. And folks will see that. I encourage folks to come out to the ribbon cuttings. We do have the next ones at Meadowlark Ridge Elementary School on Monday, May 9th. It's at 6:30 p.m. Encourage folks to come out and see that, and then we'll certainly announce as we get more ribbon cuttings in the future. We'll announce those. Lakewood Middle School has their ribbon cutting on Monday, May 16th. Now, your daughter's going to see a little bit of Meadowlark.
She's going to see both.
And a little bit of Lakewood, and then she's going to move over to Central, and she's going to see a whole lot of Central.
I know.
Because by the time that she gets there, Central will be finished.
We'll just go to, we will document.
You're just
we'll go
going
to
through
all
the whole
ribbon
process.
cuttings. I
Yeah,
know.
exactly. You're just going to be engrossed in this process.
Now tell me, do you get goosebumps when the actual ribbon is cut? What is that like for the superintendent?
It's exciting, because I tell you, at Coronado we had students who did that, and it's just, it is somewhat goosebumpy, I guess, if that's the word. I'm not sure that's a word, but it does kind of bring chills up your spine, because it's almost like where we were 3 years ago, right? And that vision's becoming a reality, and that's exciting. That's, you know, sometimes I'll drive around, and it's just really, to me, it's moving, because it's like, wow, all of this is being accomplished, you know, in a very short time with the support of the community, and I just sometimes it's just really unbelievable, but it's a good unbelievable. And I tell you what, folks, when we finish up here in a couple of years with all the projects, we're just going to have one of the better, I believe we already do, but from a facility standpoint, we'll have one of the top school districts in the state of Kansas, without a doubt.
Well, you know, and again, I don't know that I've been to every single elementary school in the district, but I know that I've definitely been to both high schools and the middle schools. But as someone who's not a Salina native, I have been always very impressed with our schools, and that was even before the construction, before, you know, the need was really strongly established to, you know, expand and make great changes. But, you know, it just, Salina forever surprises me. And we say this all the time, but it's really true. The community really supports and you know, supports the vision and recognizes that, you know, this is important. These kiddos are our future. This is setting the foundation for our future and for our community. And so it's great that you guys see that vision, and that you're able to communicate it, and that the community supports it. I mean, it's a win-win.
Well, it truly is, and I can't say enough about the support from the community, because it just says so much about Salina. They believe in public education. They believe in education for the kids, and we have a strong history of that here in Salina, and the community believes that very, very much. You know, we've besides the fact, and we're at a time, and this is probably a segueing into what's happening at the state level, but you know, we're at a time where public education at times is attacked. And it's just looked down upon or criticized. And I'm here to tell you that we're about as strong as any public education institution in the state or across the nation, especially in terms of the amount of support that we have from our community for public education. So it's extremely important that we have that. You know, at a time when other districts are trying to reduce, yeah, things are tight, and we're not seeing a lot of new dollars coming out of Topeka. But we're able to you know, restructure our budget in a way that we're adding all-day K at a time when other districts are looking at cutting programs. You know, we're adding 13 teachers. We're having to reduce in other areas. But that's because we're reprioritizing in terms of what's important and what our community is telling us is important. So, you know, we're moving forward. We may hear a lot of negative things coming out of Topeka, but here in Salina, we choose to stay positive because our community's positive, and they believe what USD 305 is all about.
Definitely, definitely. Now, at Access, we always know this time
Yes.
of year very well, because it's graduations, and we have the awesome opportunity of getting to record them, and it always amazes me, because my child's not there yet. She's still in the grade school, but I don't know why, I always feel like Salina is kind of a small community. We're decent sized, we're not super tiny, but at graduations, it's like there's so many young people that walk across that stage, and bless your heart, I bet you and the Board of Education, your hands get tired from shaking so many, although it's a great occasion,
It is.
and you're super happy.
Oh, absolutely.
But
I mean, if my hand gets numb, that's a good numb. Because for every hand that I shake walking across that stage is another success story.
Well, yeah, and you know, and I love too, you know, just the excitement. I love you know, hearing the kids speak, hearing the band play or the kids sing. whether they have the videos or whatever, just there is an energy about the graduations that is just infectious.
Oh, there is.
It's awesome.
And we have, in our community, we're fortunate to have 2 5A high schools. And so, each of our 2 schools has right around 1,000 students. And so with 1,000 students, I mean, they're good-sized high schools. And there's been some conversations about, well, what would Salina be like with just one high school? And my goodness gracious, we would have over 2,000 kids in one high school. It would just, to me, I think you would just lose the strength of what is our school system in our community. But it's really neat having 2 different graduations on the same day. Because on this particular, we have graduation on Sunday, May 15th. At 2 o'clock, we have Central High. And so we come in, and then the board and I will come in about 30 minutes early. We'll get ready for that. We'll go out and we'll have the ceremony. It'll be about an hour and a half ceremony, and we can kind of relax, because then at 5 o'clock, then we bring in South High School and we do it again. But just the opportunity to see so many kids walk across the stage in 2 separate ceremonies, and each ceremony is just a little bit different and has just a little bit different feel to it.
Yeah.
Both of them very, very nicely done. And so with that, I mean, I just think we're so pleased to be able to offer that to our community and our kids. It's just the success stories are very, very positive. And then we also have other programs as well. We have our diploma completion program, which is for our adult education program. And we have ceremonies when we have graduates there. That's located down just adjacent to the Operations Center. It's in our Salina West Education Center. And those are also very moving ceremonies. We may have, 10 or 12 graduates. But some of those graduates may be 45, 50 years old, and they went back and decided to get their high school diploma. And I tell you what, the tears are flowing.
Oh,
The tears are flowing because they have overcome barriers to achieve one of the goals in their lives, So whether it's Central's graduation or South's graduation or the diploma completion program, just the fact that we're helping folks realize their dreams. And as I tell the kids, and the adults in some cases, this isn't the end. This is just the beginning, because it's what they do at their high school diploma from this point forward that's so critically important. And that's our focus here in 305, is to get students thinking more about what they're doing after high school, not just graduating from high school, but beginning to have that conversation even in junior high. But when I'm 6th grade, your daughter, having a conversation with her beginning next year, she'll be a 6th grader, and saying, okay, what are you thinking about, what are you doing after high school? And think about that now.
Yeah.
It's not like asking them to declare majors and saying stick with it. We're saying that we're going to develop different career pathways in our high school, so that by the time they get there, they're going to have a plan in place so that they can take the courses that we can offer that are more intent, meaning that it's things that they're interested in. Sometimes kids are taking things that are, like when we were in high school, we have electives. So, this sounds like a pretty cool class, let's take this one, but not with a lot of intent. But we want kids to really start thinking about, what are you interested in? Are you interested in health sciences? If so, then what about a CNA or a CMA, or moving into the nursing field? If you're interested in video production, such as what we're doing today, we'll have a video production pathway and learn how to create videos and edit and mix and what does that look like? And give them a series of courses to do that. So it's going to be really exciting for students that they start taking those courses even when they're in high school, but to really start thinking about it in middle school. So all of that is part of our vision, which is that 100% of our kids will graduate college and career ready. If they want to go to a 4-year institution, we need to give them the skills to be successful. If they want to go out and join the world of work or go to technical school, we need to make sure that they're successful there as well. So it's a very, very exciting time for USD 305.
Definitely. And a little selfish shout out to my daughter's 5th grade teacher, Mr. Boyer.
Yes.
He has done a great job. My daughter's already asked him, she kind of has, at 11, she has an idea what she wants to do. And she's consulted her teacher about what colleges he recommends. And so, thank you, Mr. Boyer.
And I was in, and we talked about this, I was in Mr. Boyer's class just a couple of days ago with the State Commissioner of Education. And so your daughter had an opportunity to have a conversation with him.
I know,
and all the kids did. So,
cool things.
And that was exciting for those students as well.
I know. See, you guys just always have so much going on. Now, tell me about this. Now, this is maybe, I'm going to assume, because I don't know what it's like to be a superintendent of a school district. Tell me how much you love the legislative updates.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's necessary. I mean, you've got to do it. It totally
you have to do it. You have to do it.
affects your world.
I tell you, what I do is sometimes I don't like what I'm hearing, and so that's when I go out and go to classes like your daughter's in, and that re-energizes me. Or I'll go into a kindergarten class, or I'll go into a 3rd grade class, and then I kind of come out of there saying, okay, I get it, I'm focused again, this is why we're here. Because oftentimes, what you hear coming out of the legislature just isn't positive. I know we have real concerns about what's happening with the state funding situation. I know with the consensus revenue estimates that came out last week, they're estimating there will be about $290 million deficit over the next 2 fiscal years, about $140 million deficit for FY16. That's between now and July 1. It's just a real challenge. And at the same time, I mean, the governor has proposed three options for the legislature to consider. None of them are good for education. None of them are good, as far as I'm concerned, for the state of Kansas. We're looking at, what can we do to get more revenue in? There's not a lot of conversation there. The income tax reductions that occurred back, or cuts that occurred back in 2012, created a situation where we're just deplete in funds, and they're going to have to do something about that. So, we also have the Gannon decision, and the Supreme Court still has to make that decision about whether or not that they believe that the equity issue, had the order that they issued, has been fulfilled. So there's a lot of things happening right now, and sometimes it kind of feels like that train that's going down the track, and are we headed toward a proverbial train wreck? I know I've had parents, I've had teachers ask me with the Supreme Court's decision, are we going to have school next year? Because there is that concern that the Supreme Court may basically tell the legislature, you haven't met our order, and basically we're going to determine that no more funding will go to schools and we'll no longer have school. I personally believe, Marnie, that that's not going to happen. I mean, can you imagine?
How could that happen? That's
can
crazy.
you imagine 286 school districts in the state of Kansas, and come August, kids will not have any school to go to? I mean, what's the impact?
And there's not just, of course, we're here talking about 305, but there's been so much success with public education.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I know I don't know the statistics like you do, but I mean, for all the negative you hear, and I'm not listening to the same audiences, but I hear way more positive than I ever do negative. And I'm a parent of someone who's in public education, and it has been nothing but positive. And so I would just argue hardcore if that ever happened.
Well,
and how could it?
How
could it? I mean, they're invested. There are children investing in our future.
Talk about throwing the state into chaos.
Well,
I mean, kids don't have any place to go, so parents got to figure out childcare. So I can see parents contacting their employer saying, I can't come in today, I don't have somebody to take care of my child.
Yeah.
And then imagine that all across the state of Kansas.
Yeah.
So I just hope and believe that we'll have legislators who will sit down and figure this out.
Yeah,
and come August, I firmly believe we're having school. Okay?
Of course we are.
And we're going to continue on the great road that we're headed down.
Yes.
And the exciting things that we're offering for students, the opportunities we're offering for students. We're bringing some new folks in. We'll have a new principal at Lakewood Middle School. Bonnie Welty is coming to fill that position, so I'm excited about that. At Central High School, Shanna Rector's moving over to the district office, the current principal. And so we have Nathan Showman, who's the new principal at Central High. And then we also have a new assistant principal at South High School, Scott Chrisman, who will take over that position. So we've got positions filled. We're actively hiring teaching positions that are opening. So I tell you what, come August, we're ready for school.
Well, heck yeah, and everything's thriving. The buildings construction is in a really good phase, and we're having ribbon cuttings. All sorts of success, all-day kindergarten,
Exciting times.
I know.
Exciting times.
See, people just need to watch this show.
They
hear
do.
about all the
They
positives. They just need to talk to us.
We just need to do a daily show.
We should.
And this is kind of the uplifting part of the day. Just tune in to Marnie and Bill, and they'll get their positive energy for the day.
Get happy with 305.
Get happy with 305.
Yes.
That's our new. I need to talk to the board. That could be our new mission statement.
Get
happy with 305.
Exactly. Well, I know selfishly, and I'm not just saying this because I'm interviewing you, but my experience with my child has been nothing but positive, and it was even positive before my daughter was in 305. I mean, I used to record your meetings, school board meetings, and it always very interesting and insightful, especially before you're a parent with a child. But I just know from my experience that the Board of Education and staff, they really care.
Absolutely.
I mean, they spend, it doesn't matter how long, if a subject is that important, they take however long it takes to thoroughly discuss and get all the information, and you just can't always find that. And so we are very fortunate in Salina to have a very dedicated staff and Board of Education. So
I'm very pleased. And our board is so good because they believe in kids. And they believe in doing what's right for kids. They believe in the partnership between the home and the school.
Definitely.
And when they make decisions based on students, and that's what they should be doing. And so we have a very passionate and just a very good board. And so I can't thank them enough for the leadership that they provide the school system.
Well, awesome. Well, I'm so sad because
our time is over.
I know, and I feel like we just sat down and started talking.
I know.
You're just so easy to talk to.
I know. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I always enjoy coming and doing this. And we'll do another segment. We'll do another segment.
Get happy
with 305.
That should be just another side little show that we'll start doing.
Get happy with 305.
I know. Maybe we can even come up with a cool theme song, which you would
we
not
can.
not that I would create.
Yeah, isn't there like a happy song?
There is. I don't know if Pharrell will give us permission, but
Okay,
we can work. We have a lot of
pretty
talented
good.
people we can
That's good.
contact.
That's good.
I don't know.
Thank you,
but
Marnie.
Bill, you were the best,
Thank
and
you.
I'm excited to talk to you soon. And
Likewise.
real quickly, make sure you get that app because
Mobile app.
yes,
Salina Public Schools. Go onto your Google Store or your Apple Store in your smart device, search Salina Public Schools, get that downloaded, and get happy with 305.
very, very much so. Thank
Very
you
good.
so much.
Thank you, Marnie. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you so much for watching.